Why do you need a business coach? So, I've been a business coach since 2019 when I started to coach heart-centered coaches to speak from my stage powerfully and to market and sell effectively through Facebook Lives and in their presentations during summits, workshops, series that I would throw with my company, Empowering Austin Now, which you can see right behind me, an event, one of them that I led. So I was in this conversation with a dear friend. It's also a former business and relationship coaching client. He's got a very exciting program that he is building. I'm keeping this in the silence. You'll hear more about it in podcasts and interviews that I've done. And there was the conversation for the possibility of being either a team member or possibly a coach. And I was like, let me consider these two. What are the virtues of one side versus the other for him, most of all, right? So uh, I engaged in some thinking and I want to share the results of that thinking. So the beginning piece is, why does risking your business happen? Like why does it become more dangerous and more likely that your business will fail if you do not have a business coach? Well, here's something that I've noticed. Having no one else but you care about what you're up to makes it very difficult to start and keep alive something new. But if you can create alliances, you can create oversight and a team around it, then that energy, that inspiration, that viewing it with hope and optimism and enthusiasm, that voting of victory that's taking place through the particle flow of attention and intention by more than just your nervous system is beautiful and is brilliant. So, never eat alone, they say, right? And that doesn't really solve the debate of whether or not I should be a team member or a coach, a business coach, a trained wealth dynamics flow consultant. And I'm going to go through the pros and cons. And I'm going to answer this question through an inquiry that I've engaged in pretty fine detail, right? So without a coach, the danger for your business isn't failure, it's slow, elegant, subtle decay. You may get successful, you may stay busy, you may get profitable even, but you'll subtly disconnect from clarity, from vitality, and from purpose. So, in my opinion, a business coach for your business isn't a luxury. They are a safety mechanism for your greatness. They keep your greatness ahead of you by having it exist outside of your head. Because if you're in your head, you're dead. If you're in your heart, you're art. And having someone who cares about you, and yeah, you're paying a business coach to care about what you're up to in a way that, and to a degree that no one else on the planet, short of someone who is a fully paid, capitalized employee, fully bought into the mission, would, right? But the virtue of having a business coach support you is you can become trapped inside your own thinking. Heraclitus famously said, just as I am and as I am not, so also this river that I exist, that I see, it is and it is not, that I step into, right? And Nietzsche famously said, and thus spake Zarathustra, don't let ice cover over the top of your river, right? Don't let ice freeze over your river. And we humans, we confuse the processes that we are for things. We're rivers, not rocks. We're movements, not moments. And yet, left to ourselves in our own head, we concretize things that are meant to be fluid. And by virtue of being in regular communication with someone else, some one specific other person, right? And this is difficult to get in group coaching programs. What becomes available to you is the fluidity of life flowing through you. And, you know, you may mistake what's familiar for what's right. When you're the visionary for a business, every major choice filters through your existing beliefs, your biases, your fears. Without a coach to challenge and question them, you can't see the picture while you're inside of it. Without a coach to challenge what might not be working inside where you're going or how you're seeing or relating to yourself or your business or yourself inside your business, you may recycle the same patterns that created your current limits. You may spend months solving the wrong problems, or worse, climbing a ladder excruciatingly, committedly up the wrong wall. So the danger is stagnation dressed up as progress. And another danger of not having a business coach is building from a crooked foundation. See, success is structural. And if you're not putting the right things in place, the cracks underneath what may look like a really beautiful edifice will not immediately be visible. They may become visible only later when you build a full-on structure like a tower on top of it, and then it's structurally unsound, it starts to wobble and it crumbles, right? So without outside calibration, blind spots become part of the structure. And strategy gaps hide under business. You may confuse activity for accomplishment. How do I know? Ask me how I know. For many years, I would fill in my chart keeping track because if you fall in love with the process, the outcome becomes inevitable. My chart of lead generation activities, and I'd say, all right, so long as I do 10 hours a week. Now, what I found was I was not measuring, managing, and iterating upon those 10 hours a week to see what actually works that I can do more of and what doesn't work as well that I can do less of. It was just, let me throw a bunch of activity into that thing. So a strategy gap hid under me confusing activity with achievement. And this can also look like emotional leaks, resentment, fatigue, over control, shaping company culture. Because if you want your business to succeed, it's gonna have to involve someone more than you, right? That much is obvious to me. You need somewhere to overflow the incompletions and the pain and suffering of triggers and hijacks, and you need somebody to co-regulate with just in being in the game of banging your head against the wall and moving through the world of building the business, right? But if someone doesn't see something and say something about that early enough on, it again becomes part of the foundation for the culture, for example. And unchecked stress decisions become systemic inefficiencies. Ask me how I know. I've built so much of my business in the past several years. From things, offers, structures, strategies that I had to put in place during stress tests on my soul, my heart, my commitments, and the growth amplified the cracks in the business instead of fixing them. Meaning, when I had growth, I started to rely on structures and strategies that were not fully tested and proven. And then when I started to continue to play out those structures and strategies and they just stopped working, it was like, well, what do I do? And yeah, I've pivoted a lot in restructuring my business over time, but I'd rather not have had those cracks to begin with. You don't see things as they are, you see things as you are. So unless you have someone seeing things outside of you and beyond you, you are the limit to your capacity to see what's going on. The first quote was from Wayne Dyer. The implication is via me. So if without a business coach, you lose objectivity and you drift into isolation. Leaders without mirrors, strong enough, confident enough, clear enough to challenge them, they drift or they get bored or lazy or they slip into apathy. If you're not growing, you're dying. And you'll get surrounded by people who agree with you because why? They want to be part of a good thing. Let's say you get to six figures in your business, right? Well, people will want you to hire them because you're in a successful thing. even perhaps people who poo-pooed you or did not have faith in you or doubted you on the way there, they're like, no, 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 no. You're obviously somebody to learn from and to grow with and whatnot. You're a success. I want a part of that. Team feedback becomes politicized or diluted if it's just underlings, right? Or employees. So you need to have a team member. And then small misalignments in your offer, in your message, or your team, if you don't have somebody who sees things as they are, they snowball unnoticed. And reality gets distortion in your perception as a founder, as a leader, until market feedback delivers a hard correction, like your cash flow going down and you not eating that month or some shit, or having to take out a loan or whatever, right? Next, a coach is keeping an eye on you because entrepreneurship is a full contact sport. It is a branch of athletics. And if you don't have someone to help you condition yourself and um, meld self-care with full-on balls to the wall, pedal to the metal action and activity, while also leaning back with vision and manifestation capacity, then you will very quickly imbalance in some direction and overpendulate in one of these directions. And I've overbalanced in all of these directions. The hustle mindset, the leaning back and manifesting, the whatever that one was. So, coach can help you regulate your nervous system and energy. Without one, you are carrying everyone's stress, right? Because you are now, if you're taking on employees, responsible for other people's lives. You don't notice early stages of emotional depletion. You confuse adrenaline for flow. Chronic fatigue can masquerade as hustle culture, as like, I'm getting it done. Like, no, you may be burnt out, at which point your job is to deal with what's going on inside of you and heal your nervous system. So, when no one holds your commitments sacred outside of you, this is intrinsic to integrity. Accountability and integrity evaporates for the sake of ease or the experience of ease, right? Or convenience, right? Excuses will multiply subtly. You start negotiating with your own potential. Momentum dies quietly. Death by a thousand cuts or death by delay. Your best ideas expire before implementation. You forget them. You don't have a place where they exist outside of you. And then you need someone when you haven't built, let's say you haven't reached six figures in a business yet. You require someone who's attained that, who carries the energetics of that inside of them, and who can hold that vision for you until you attain it for you. You need to borrow someone else's faith in the identity that you're stepping into until you can build your own through habits, behaviors, frames, actions, and activities over time. Every business plateau mirrors a plateau in your identity. So without a coach, you will cling to the version of you that built the last success. And oh boy, I have experienced this. I'm doing that because that stuff works. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not, right? And you'll subconsciously resist the discomfort required for your next evolution. Success becomes a cage instead of a launch pad. You'll miss the next level of your identity, and then eventually you'll wake up sick and tired of doing what you're doing, and you'll be like, wait a second, I created a life of freedom, but now I've become a slave to my calendar. Or without someone to mirror your humanity back, you will over-identify with the business, which Solopreneurship is a hell of this unless you're careful, because every fluctuation of your cash flow will feel existential and your self-worth fuses with your revenue, and you may lose perspective on why you started because now you're just white knuckling to survive. Emotional volatility and self-sabotage, right? And If you have team members, that's great because that multiplies your capacity for execution. But coaches will evolve you. Without that external evolution system, you will repeat the same strategic mistakes under new branding. You might come up with a prettier logo, but your high performance habits, your marketing, your sales capacities, coaches will evolve you because they have to look further than you do. They're not limited by the current structure, status, or circumstances of your team, which is, I'll tell you, in the drama of this video, I'm leaning in that direction, coaching rather than team. The business outpaces its founders, or excuse me, the business will never outpace its founders' level of internal maturity. So you need someone focused on your personal development as a priority, which is really an argument for if you're building a team in your business, you at least need someone who is focused on your personal growth as a priority, as an intention, as a specific distinguishing. And if they're an employee or if they're a teammate, especially in a good startup, they should be focused on their own, really, not yours, because they need to. And this is from many different startups, right? Brain Juice, Empowering Austin Now, Speak Powerfully Now, Make Love Easy. Um, I had to evolve and grow in order to dance with what was offered to me and what I had to deal with. And I would have gone better if somebody had been concentrating on what levels or layers of personal growth and development did I need to do. So that you can't see the game while you're inside of it. If somebody had seen me in that game, they would have helped me to play it better. Without a business coach, you stay in reaction mode. What does that mean? Well, no matter how far you go, how fast you go, how easy it is, you are often going to be firefighting rather than rainmaking. A coach gives you a channel for the continued existence of your intention to architect your business, right? And if you're alone in your business, urgent will replace important. And then important may get lost in the shuffle or just never get done. And creative vision will get buried under daily operations and the need for marketing, sales, cash flow, fulfillment. You may mistake motion for momentum. And by the way, chronic reactivity leads to burnout and brittle decision making. Chronic reactivity leads to burnout, where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna do what I have to make marketing and sales work, and as I'm white knuckling, I'm eventually gonna relax, and then I'm gonna neglect. I'm gonna say done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect, and I got something out there. No, you do not want that. Oh my gosh, you don't want that. You know how I know? Ouch. Oops. Whoopsie woo. The best way to learn is through failure. The key is it does not have to be yours. Um, Coaching at its best provides accountability, support, blind spotting, block busting, resistance release. So, accountability, someone outside of you who holds you accountable to getting things done. An underling, a teammate may or may not do that. A coach can. Support. Well, if a coach is primarily there to support you and is free from the business to support you and is supporting themselves by some other means, then when they show up to the table to support you, they're not being drained by the same issues and challenges that might be draining and challenging you, right? Without a coach who cares both about your impact and your soul at a spiritual level, you may achieve revenue, recognition, yet feel hollow. You may forget to celebrate, rest, or receive, to relax into and perceive your achievements. You risk dying spiritually success. You risk dying financially successful, but emotionally and spiritually bankrupt, right? So you don't want your business to win, but you as a human to lose. You want to keep that connection to love, joy, and service that's available to you, right? And then there are benefits, right? We've talked about the things that you don't want to have happen that may or probably will, depending on who you are, happen if you don't have a business coach. Let's talk about the things that having a business coach does that benefits you, especially one who's tuned to mindset, which I am, energy, which I am, and accountability, which I am. Blind spot detective. You can't see what you can't see behind you right now. You literally, without having to turn, I mean, if you turn your head, you're removing the blind spot like structurally, but to a certain extent, it's always going to be there. This part, no matter which direction I look, I can't see that direction. So, but if I have somebody else looking that direction and moving with me, they can see that. So you'll have cognitive blind spots. A great coach will see the patterns that you can't see yourself telling yourself as stories, right? You have unconscious assumptions and logical fallacies that are limiting your growth. You have self-sabotage loops, trauma imprints, hidden fears influencing your decisions, emotional blind spots, right? And again, you can't see the picture while you're inside of it. So your communication, your leadership, your offers, your performance, when it's viewed objectively, a lot more becomes possible than when you're viewing it on your own. One of my favorite quotes is when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerates because it's no longer you alone anymore. It's somebody who cares about you, will check in on you, will oversee you, will get curious about you, and will help you to reduce wasted energy and amplify precision in every move. Um, let's talk about block busting and resistance release. Every entrepreneur meets internal and external drag and friction in their movement through or penetration into the achievement of their goal. A coach will help you dissolve it, bust through those blocks through releasing tension, doubt, shame around success, money, visibility, whatever. Co-regulating your nervous system so expansion feels safe, not stressful. I have never heard this anywhere else. Your coach is a secure base and a safe haven for your attachment circuitry and your nervous system in business. Business is a situation of uncertainty. There's a lot of risk, there's a lot of danger. And if you have someone who's got more faith than you do in the process, more clarity on the direction than you do for the process, and is willing to leverage their faith to support you and focus and feed the vision of your imagination achieved, then it's going to be much easier than if you were to just do it on your own because you'll hit a glass ceiling and they can somatically calibrate with you. They can literally both nurse and surgeon you, right? Nurse you like, okay, you're not alone. I got you. It's danger, it's risky, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's new, you're clunky, but I got you. How good does that feel? That feels great when I get that, especially from a one-on-one business coach. My best period of business success, like most consistent at like 10K plus months, came when I was consistently working with and reporting to a coach who not only was just helping me co-regulate, oh, I love you, you're fine, I got you, but had structure, strategy, tactic, technique, and stuff to recommend to me. You want to transform your I can'ts into embodied certainty through constant reframing and celebration of wins. You want to operate from flow instead of force, ease and grace instead of hustle and grind. Business coach can help you do that by helping you get out of your mind into your heart so that you can be about the business of creating your art. Accountability, by the way, which is where we're going next, is energetic alignment with your commitment. It's not punishment. There is no integrity sledgehammer, though we used to think there was one in Landmark. We kind of felt that way sometimes. It's a way of maintaining momentum through constant check-ins that prevent drift and distraction. Oh, look, a pretty girl. Oh, look, a whole new world. I'm traveling the world right now, and I couldn't make those calls because I had to go explore Madrid. It's okay to have your vacation and your digital nomading so long as it doesn't have you. And it'll have you unless you have someone who has you. So, faith is imagination focused on a desirable outcome. Fear is imagination running wild. You are borrowing your coach's faith in your vision until you build your own, and you're multiplying your faith in your vision through your coach's vision in your coach's attention to and intention put into your vision. Right? Your coach's belief in you will sustain movement when your motivation dips. Yeah, and I got this recently when I was working with a personal trainer. He was like, "No, you can do another rep." And I was like, "No, no, I didn't even actually I got to the point where I didn't even think about resisting doing the next rep because I trusted him to know how far I could go and to push me without pushing me past my limit to the point of self-destruction. And he pushed me just to my edge, which is a really beautiful thing that a coach can do, right? And a coach, through accountability around your integrity, will reinforce your commitment by reminding you to act in alignment with what you say you want. Because how often do we forget? Often, as humans. Um, and literally, if you're the average of your five best friends and your coach is like the top of that list, your coach is pulling for a listening of you that you might not yet have. They're listening to you as the identity who has already achieved the vision. Whereas your identity is listening to you as the person you've always been, the person who got lazy, the person who gave up on this and that, the person who did X, Y, and Z. So as you're reaching past your comfort zone, stepping out onto the skinny branches of the unknown, action may be emotional and sporadic. Like I'm inspired today. Oh, I'm not inspired today. I'm gonna go chase women or whatever, right? Whereas action becoming rhythmic and inevitable is what happens when your coach keeps guiding you back. You know how water flows down a hill in a certain direction? Your attention and focus flows towards your identity and commitment when a coach is there to serve as that and to remind you of it each and every week, right? Strategy, structure, and execution precision. Intuitive alignment. So if you've got a great business idea that comes from your heart, that your intuition birthed into you, and solid systems around that will make you unstoppable. Having a coach will help you to discern high leverage versus vanity tasks, things that make you feel good. Like, oh, I did this thing and I feel good about it, but did it move the needle of your cash flow, your revenue, your efficient and effective delivery and fulfillment, or your scaling of this thing? A coach can help you see through to the efficient and effective structuring of workflows, standard operating procedures, system design, because you can't see it while you're in it, but you can see it. You can see it through someone else hearing it. The coach provides an external brain for rapid iteration and refinement. You spend, the 80%, 80/20 rule, right? You spend 80% of your time on the 20% that produces the most results. When you're continuing to iterate through parallel processors, because we don't always personally see what those are, what those actions and activities are that we take that produce those 20% of results. We see what we're doing, we see what is working to some degree, but it's the precision, fine-tooth comb uh, through that data with another mind, ideally in a conversation that will make things happen more easily. So we talked about this. You can take bolder risks when emotionally anchored. You've got safety and expansion through co-regulation. You're uh, borrowing their nervous system's safety and security as you're stepping into faith, just like you're borrowing their faith, because they are providing regulated presence. They're showing up to calls and conversations with poise and potency and grace and ease, whereas you might not have that when you start those calls, but you will probably have those after them. After setbacks, you need to discharge stress instead of storing it. You need to engage in energetic, emotional, and social hygiene. There are spaces and places you will step into as an entrepreneur that most people on the planet never experience. If you have a coach, a business coach, especially one who has themselves gone through the path of entrepreneurship to a measure of success, well, what they can help you do is to debrief and to process through and to release, and they know where to shine the spotlight of their attention into your blind spots and dark corners so that you can get cleaned up after you fall down, dust yourself off, and start all over again, right? Your coach can help you stay centered during launches, conflicts, big visibility jumps. Visibility jumps, they keep you energetically contained in an effective way, and you can grow sustainably, not through burnout cycles. Next, Dumbo's feather. Dumbo was this bird that, excuse me, the elephant that thought he needed a feather to fly, and what he realized was, wait, is the faith I put in the feather, I can fly without the feather. The coach is Dumbo's feather, right? So the coach holds belief for you, in you, until you internalize it. They inject faith into you on a regular, recurring basis, increasing the measure of your faith. They reflect your potential back to you with unwavering conviction, whereas you may fall into doubt. Their confidence in you becomes energetic proof that your next level already exists, and you move from hoping to knowing that it's done. Because this is an interesting thing about intersubjective reality. It's created through agreement. This is from the Landmark Advanced course. If I say that thing is chair, or this thing that I'm sitting in, and you agree with me, well, that exists beyond just me. But if it just exists just in you, you're gonna have to fight for that thing to exist, right? So the context and the attention and the speaking of it with and through a coach's conversations can make it really powerful for you, right? Um, and make it exist in a real way that it might not on its own. Let's see. Beyond mindset, coach can help you align your frequency and optimize your energy and build resonance. They can train you to operate from peak creative and magnetic states, align your offer message vibration with the ideal clients and opportunities that you actually desire, and to help you drop resistance so life can start delivering more serendipitous synchronicity and support. Your business can feel enchanted, not effortful. Then there's identity expansion and embodiment. You don't build $1 million business, you become the person willing to take the actions who can build that business. Uh, you want to ensure that your breakthroughs stabilize into consistent beings. Yesterday's breakthrough becomes tomorrow's baseline. And the identity of the person who achieved that baseline is who you just are now. And if somebody is listening to you as that, they are an environment pulling for you to be and act that way. And you need that for some time in order for your identity to stabilize. How you lead your business, by the way, also mirrors how you lead yourself. We train other people on how to treat themselves by how we treat ourselves. So you want to engage with you and have someone support you in engaging with you in the way that sets your tone and leadership for your entire team and culture, right? A business coach will keep you anchored to why you started, help you feel whole while you make money, money with meaning, we like to call that. Turn your business into an expression of divine service and grace. And then I think, you know what? There's the last conversation here, right? Which is why is a business coach better to hire or your first hire before hiring your first team member or partnering with your first team member. Well, they're an entirely different kind of leverage, and this will be the conclusion of this. Coaches see the whole board. The team member is inside the game. Coaches stand outside the game where they can see the full pattern. Team member focuses on execution within their role. The coach focuses on alignment between vision, structure, energy, and strategy. A coach prevents you from optimizing the wrong thing. Make sure you climb the right mountain before you climb faster. Team members build your business systems. So once you've got a system that works, then it's time to hire them so that you can scale it. Coaches build you, the leader who makes the systems. A good coach will help you refine your decision making, your focus, your allocation of time, energy, communication, energetic leadership. They develop the human who makes the decisions the team executes. Because here's the thing. One of my favorite things is to do profound personal and spiritual development under the camouflage of business development or relational skills development or dating skills development, right? You want to evolve faster than your circumstances. And your business will naturally follow if you're ahead of the game in terms of who you are, right? Employees and contractors often tell you what you want to hear. Team members, teammates, even potentially. Coaches tell you what you need to hear. Somebody on your team, they care about job security and harmony in the culture. A coach, love confronts dysfunction, cares about your truth, your growth, and your results. So they will more than likely give you radical honesty, the oxygen of a breakthrough. And you will get undistorted feedback that cuts through ego and comfort. They aren't in the politics. They have cognitive and emotional distance. So you need one, regardless of what team members you've got. Team members help you do more. Coach helps you to be more, especially when you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're doubting yourself. We talked about co-regulation for your nervous system during expansion or uncertainty or risk. They help transmute your fear into focus and your chaos into calm. Your coach doesn't depend on your payroll or hierarchy, especially if you pay upfront in full. They're free to challenge you ruthlessly because their role isn't political, it's developmental, right? Whereas the team member operates within your company culture, your coach helps you to design your evolution from outside the culture. Your evolution, because your business is not you, it's a artwork expressing you until you go to do something more than that. So your vision gets amplified if you have someone who's outside of you. Your team members are following your current vision. A coach will expand you and hold you to reaching for and beyond that vision. So, when you contract, it'll remind you of who you are, right? And this goes back to the distinction of a team. Your team needs your direction and leadership. A coach holds you to your direction, challenges you to claim it stronger and better, and keeps your execution aligned with your declared values, your goals, your stated commitments. You don't drift, you start delivering more often. Team members manage pieces. A coach aligns the architecture itself. Coaches build systems that build systems, and you are the system that holds all the systems. Oh, look, I found my pencil. They ensure your time, team, strategy, and mindset function as a single coherent system. They integrate spiritual, emotional, and operational dimensions into one elegant machine. Exponential clarity, not incremental growth and productivity. Coaches don't just fix problems, they evolve paradigms. Employees optimize within the current paradigm, or team members optimize within the current paradigm. Coaches dissolve the operating system and upgrade it. They dissolve scarcity, perfectionism, reactivity. They help you lead from abundance and creation, not fear and reaction. And a great coach is part strategist, part mirror, part mystic. They are there to ideally help you discover God inside your growth in business, to hold a mirror to you in a way that is profound and specific and unique. They give you safety for honest reflection, challenge that grows you, faith that transfers until yours solidifies. You don't just scale your business, you grow your consciousness. So that's where I've ended up landing is there's so many reasons to have a business coach. There's so many reasons why it's dangerous not to have a business coach. So any business and every business owner should have one, at least, possibly more than one if your team gets big. And then a business coach has unique advantages that can never be provided by a team member, not in the way that a business coach can provide them. So I recommend you find a business coach and hire one. And if you want me to be yours, I have scaled a business to six figures. I've helped many other people to reach high cash months through high ticket offers. Uh, I helped, let's see, a brain supplement company scale. And I've been an entrepreneur for about 15 years. So I know my way around the block, and I'd love to have a conversation with you to support you. Thanks for listening. Let this not be a fun conversation. Let this be a life changing alteration.